Windisch of the Gyro Step Podcast, covering the Bucks and the NBA. Joining us now. Find the Gyro Step Podcast wherever you get your podcasts. Good morning, Ty. How are you, my friend?
Good morning. First sips of coffee are in after a late night, ready for the day, ready for round 2 at 3 p.m. for some reason. Let's see if the pick 33 can feel a little bit better about this draft than maybe they do right now.
Oh, that's right. It's an afternoon start today. What's up with that?
If I don't know why it's a 2-day event. I don't know why day 2 is at 3 p.m. Central. I don't know why, if you're going to do 2 days, I think you probably need a third round for like two-ways and undrafted guys or something. Like, I don't know how, I don't know who's going to watch. I mean, I'm going to watch it, right? Sickos like me, but
hold on a second. I think this is coming together for me. Butch, you see if you can follow me on this. So first time ever 2 rounds, or first time ever 2 days. For the
I see where you're going here.
It's also the first time ever that LeBron James, current face of the league, his son is going to be drafted. He's also expected to go late, the 55th overall pick out of 58 total picks. So if you did it at a normal time, 7:30, a couple hours. If you started at 4 Eastern time, boys, that 55th pick will land, boom, right in the middle of prime time. I mean,
say it ain't so.
Just a theory. I don't know.
I think it's totally possible that I think it's possible this is the only time they do this, and if it's the only time they do it is for the Bronny James draft, I don't think that's an accident. I will say that because I think there's intrigue in that. I don't know if there's otherwise intrigue in the second round in most years.
All right, where do you come down on the picks, the draft's pick of AJ Johnson?
I really hated it at first, and now I'd say after some more like digging into him and just thinking about the situation and everything, I'll just say I don't like it. Obviously the goal when you have Giannis,
right? You went from
that's better.
To
that's better.
I still don't like it, but I'm not as mad anymore. After a short night's sleep and some coffee, I'm not as angry, but I still don't.
That's exactly it. I don't think he's going to be ready to help the Bucks year one, and I think that's what the goal, right? For this
he's
team.
not. And Ty, let's just clarify that right now. He's not going to be ready to do that. That's a given. That I can say strong.
Yeah.
So
the goal is to win right now.
Ty,
I love Keyshawn George.
Still on the board. Okay.
I really like Keyshawn George out of Florida, out of Miami, excuse me. And again, maybe he wouldn't have really helped year one. I think that is the obvious counter, right? Is you're picking at 23 overall. It's unlikely any of these players are going to step in and, at least be very, productive players on a good team. That's rare. Maybe that kind of happened with Andre Jackson Jr. Like, it's possible. There was a rookie starting for a team not starting, but almost starting for a team in the finals this year. But it's rare. It's not the norm. I think it's becoming more common, especially with these new, second apron, cap stuff where you kind of need those cost-controlled contributors. But it was unlikely the Bucks were going to take a player who was going to this is our starter now at the 2 guard, or this is going to be our best player off the bench. But I would have liked a player who maybe could be, whereas I agree, Butch. I don't think AJ Johnson is really a world where he can.
All right, but the 2 ways change things. And that's why I'm not done with this draft yet or this class, because AJ Green was a 2-way guy to start. And now he's come in and he's, going to have a spot on this team and, contribute. So it's like, is that what you're seeing now? More NBA guys, older guys are getting the 2-way deals, not guaranteed. Younger guys are getting it's all wacky as can be, but that's the way the NBA is, correct? So when you get done with this at 30, I think it's 33, right? The third pick, this at, be about 3:30 our time when they finally get that pick. Do you think they'll go with an older, experienced guy with that pick?
I think it's more likely, yeah. I think you look at the players still available. There's like Johnny Furphy and Bobby Klintman. I think those players are a little rawer, but probably more ready. Then you look at someone like an Adam Bona out of UCLA, where I think he could be ready to be a backup center. I think Horst said they're looking for a support big.
If he's there, I think you have to take him. That's the guy I
would like that pick.
If he is available in the next 3 picks, you have to go get your backup center. Brook Lopez is not going to cut it. I mean, that's the conversation when you're looking at the next 2 to 3 years.
You may want to move him. Can I get
Correct.
you on record? Because I don't think you have done this yet, Butchie, and then I want to hear Ty's take. Where did you come down on Kyle Filipowski as a possibility?
I'm a hard pass. I don't think
because
I just don't think he's athletic enough. I don't think it
tall
it's a
shooter.
Mesh. Yeah, but I don't think it's a mesh there. And
so you're shaking your head in agreement. You're also out on Flipper, the flopper.
Yeah, I mean, bad free throw percentage makes me question if he's going to be an elite or a plus NBA shooter. A negative wingspan for a center really scares me, man. I don't think you're protecting the rim.
Negative wingspan. New term alert.
Yeah,
I would
that's
guess, not having heard this before, it means his arm length, tip to tip, finger to finger spread out, wingspan, is not what it should be for a guy his size.
Less than height. Yeah, about an inch less than an inch, but not by a lot, but it's less than his height.
Okay. Who was the Atlanta Hawks power forward that led the league in rebounding and had short little dinosaur arms?
Kevin Willis?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Kevin Willis had little dinosaur arms, but he led the league in rebounding by like several rebounds. It was nuts.
Couldn't have a strong body to do that.
Yeah, exactly. Strong body and hunger. Rebounding is about hunger, right, Butchie? You got to want that.
Absolutely.
Ball. Okay. All right. So Flipper out. What about Kolek? If you want guys that can play right away and give you something, was there not a need for him? Could there be? What if he's on the board at 33?
I think there's a chance he will be. I mean, there's only going to be 2 players gone. I think there's a pretty intriguing pool of prospects left. It wouldn't surprise me if Kolek did go with one of the first 2. I think generally he's viewed as a player who's probably going to be able to play right away. I mean, he should be, right? He is not an AJ Johnson. This is a much older, more polished prospect. For me, I'm not excited about that for the Bucks, because if you're taking a guy who can only play the 1 and cannot play with Damian Lillard together, then it's just the upside of the pick is just very short in the next couple of years. This is a player who you're like, 10 to 15 minutes per game, barely any minutes in the playoffs. I'd rather swing for a wing or a big like Tyler Smith. We haven't talked about the shooting big out of G League Ignite, but that's another raw prospect. So again, at a certain point, it's like how many raw prospects do we want on the team? We really need these existing young guys to step
play
forward.
Anybody. I mean, it's not going to play any young player, Todd. That's the other side of this. Like, I get the development part of it, but one of the reasons that the Thunder have their young prospects developed is because they played them. Right, we haven't seen Marjan in 2 years.
Mm-hmm. Like that's 3 different coaches, but yeah.
Well, 3 different coaches, but still, like, okay, so he's not going to play young players.
I mean, based on the roster right now, he's not going to have much of a choice, is he? The starting 2 guard is going to be AJ Green or Andre Jackson Jr. right at the moment, which is a little nervy for me.
I mean, there's going to be moves, correct?
I would think so. I mean, you lost your best of your best trade assets.
There's not moved. Are they competing this year?
All right,
competing, yes, but I don't think. I think they have ground to cover.
That's what it is. That's the competing. Go ahead, Zay.
Hold on, you're beating Ty up over this stuff. I want to beat him up first over his
draft.
Okay, let me cut in line here to beat him up here.
Yes,
Ty, you're coming off like the old men Muppets in the balcony on the Muppet Show, Statler and Waldorf, where you're like, I don't like anything, Like, all right, well, how about who should they pick in the second round? And all I hear from you is, I don't like this guy, don't like that guy. Give me someone you like tonight.
I like Bona. I like Tyler Smith and Bobby/Bobby Klitman. I looked at the last 2 with the first round pick. I think both of them project to be bigs who can move and shoot. And that's what everyone wants in the NBA. And I think it's not a sure thing. If it was, they wouldn't be here at 33. But I like the bet, especially in the second round. I think Bona, if you want someone who you feel like can play, and if you're going to trade one of these bigs, which we'll see, right? Everyone's overreacting, I think, to John Horst saying, we want to support big to go with Bobby and Brooke. He's not going to sit here and tell the media, we're going to trade one of these guys, right? Nobody knew they were going to trade Jrue Holiday. That the guy moves in silence. I think there could still be a trade with one of those players, but if you want a big, either way, I think Bona can come in and play. Right, I'd love that pick.
All right, it's now your turn to beat up Ty Windisch of the Gyro Step Podcast.
I love coming on the show.
Yes,
I'm not beating him up. I just think we're at a point
roughed up.
As Bucks fans, you're in win now mode. Your pick last night was not win now. Doc doesn't necessarily play a lot of young players. You've got a lot of young players on your roster. So what does John Horst need to do to make sure that you can compete with Boston. That's where you're at. You're at a win a championship now moment of this franchise history. It's not a make the playoff. Your moves need to win championships. It's exciting for Bucks fans. So what does John need to do to make that happen?
Well, I think there needs to be an upgrade at the two-guard spot, right? I think you need a proven player to come in. And I think it's a very specific kind of player. It's a defensive-first athletic player. And I can already hear people say, they got Ajax, they got Marjan. That's great. I want someone more proven. You look back at last regular season, the Bucks lost the minutes Andre Jackson Jr. shared with Giannis. That's not good. And he was a rookie. I think he'll be better. There was a lot going on. A lot of that was Adrian Griffin time when everything was just a bit off, quite frankly. But still, that's not a good sample. Everyone should win their Giannis minutes, right? It should be the other way around. The non-Giannis minutes should be bad. So I worry about just throwing him in as the starter and saying, we'll be fine. He was exciting in the playoffs when Giannis didn't play at all, right? The most important fit we didn't really get to see in the playoffs because the most important player didn't play. So I think I want to see a player brought in who you feel really good about defending, opposing apex scorers between the 1 and the 3, being able to cover for maybe some slow-footedness or not defensive excellence from Dame and Chris because they're carrying more of a load offensively, make those guys' lives easier. I want to see a proven defender come in there. And then I think you're in a pretty good spot, but that's the big move to make. And I don't know where they're going to go get that player right now.
Yeah. By the way, CBS Sports mock for the second round has the Bucks taking Furphy. Johnny Furphy from Kansas, 6'8" shooter. I mean, look, shooting is always a good thing to have, right? He ranked in the 98th percentile on spot-ups as a freshman at Kansas. So that's pretty good. But is he a liability defensively? I don't know. Shooting, always good. That's what they say. But your pick, if you had it to make, and he was available, Ty Windisch, is one guy.
I'm going to go with Tyler Smith. Even though I said I wanted a more sure thing, I love the upside.
You just said that, Ty.
I know. I can't resist him, though.
Of the G League Unite, 6'9" power forward, projected to go at 36, according to this mock. So he may or may not be available. Okay.
I watch his tape. The way he moves and shoots. I just see him and Giannis being dominant next to each other someday. I really do. I can't quit this guy.
You said the word someday. When's that day, Ty? You got to win now. It's not about someday. Some days are over. Because guess what? If you don't win, Giannis' ass can be traded anyway.
I know.
And then all your assets you can get as young as you want to get. Young with the 4 first rounders you get. You have to win to keep Giannis happy. That's what he
4. Mikal Bridges was like 6. If they ever trade Giannis, they're getting the 20 OKC picks at this point. I don't advocate for that, to be clear. I don't know. Listen, I just think it puts more pressure on Horst to do things outside of the draft. And I think we're there anyway. I think he's got to figure out a way, whether it's another knockout free agent like Beasley was, right? It didn't fit well with Dame, but for Drew, I think that's a knockout vet min signing. Can you do another one like that? Or can you swing a big trade? I don't think there's going to be an answer at 33 in the draft that we love to compete right now anyway, in either circumstance. Like Bona, a nice backup big, he's not changing your life when you're competing for titles. You can sign a veteran big. Like, that's why I'm not looking at this pick and like, I need a win now player here. I think you need to go find one somewhere else though. But I'm not gonna hate the draft entirely about not getting those players just because I don't know if they were there anyway.
Okay, right? Well then look at Boston though. Look at what Boston did with Pritchard, with Hauser. Yeah. Like, you look at their second unit, Ty. What is it built on?
It's built on those picks for sure. Those guys didn't play much as rookies, though.
But the Bucks, so that's the difference. Like, that second unit could do something. The Bucks' second unit was garbage.
Yeah,
and that's coming along. Nice.
But I think they have more of the young players now. It's going to be interesting to see how much these guys play. Yeah, that's going to be the big. These guys need to be ready.
Yeah.
Okay. More importantly, that we could have only the second gaucho from the Harvard of the West drafted in the NBA. A.J. Mitchell, point guard, projected to be the dead last pick, Mr. Irrelevant, pick 58 for the Dallas Mavericks. Now, that's near and dear to my heart since that's my school right there.
He needs to go to the Bucks. We need another AJ.
Hey, Orlando Johnson was picked 36th overall in 2012. And then the great Brian Shaw, who was an Olympian in 88, played for a number of teams, coached the Lakers at one point. was the 24th overall pick in 88, and I saw him play as an undergrad, Ty. I was a thinner man with more hope and a gleam in my eyes.
I played with
and hair
OJ
on my head.
in the G League.
Did you really?
I
play
did.
with Orlando Johnson?
Yeah.
Good guy?
Nice.
Yeah.
Okay, very nice. You said you were a jerk to him, but I don't know if that's true or not. I doubt it.
First person, it won't be the last person. What do you
All
think
right,
Ty's going to
Ty.
say as soon as he hangs up?
Yeah, I was gonna say bring him on the show, then see what he says.
Yeah. Hey, you're fitting in nicely. You know, the fact that we're roughing you up a little bit means we like you. You're good on the show.
I was dealing with a
download.
podcasters in crisis last night, so.
Oh, okay, good. All right. Gyro Step Podcast, all things Bucks NBA. Ty is your host, does a great job. Make sure to put it in your podcast rotation. We'll talk again soon. Thank you, Ty.
Thanks, guys.
All right.